I can still remember all the pain you passed on to me. The constant inconsiderate cuts to my self-esteem you caused. The dependency you dug into me just to abandon. The negligence I still neglect to name. The names of people you loved louder than me. The memories that make my muscles tense. I don't know a lot about forgiveness, and maybe that's why it's so hard to give it. Sometimes I don't want to. Have you ever tried to open a clenched fist? It can't be done from the outside, and I am too scared to go inside, which is to say, I'm afraid to find the hurt, because most days it feels like I am just holding on. And isn't that the cycle, the contradiction, the catch-22? Even if I wanted to forgive you, I rip pain like a palm pressed to a wound. I am holding on to every hurt whether I want to or not. And the blood and betrayal and bad habits spills through and paints my skin with red regrets. I can still name all the not so great things I've done. The moments I made the man in the mirror a monster. The memories marked permanent in my mind like a haunting handprint on the glass. The times I talked myself into trouble and out of good graces. I don't know anyone's mistakes more than my own, but I recount them every night. Get lost in the dark of decisions I wish I didn't make. Feel the weight of all these mistakes settle on my shoulders like a thunderstorm. Some days, I think I might drown. I don't know a lot about forgiveness, but I know I want it. Want my eyes to meet compassion in the mirror. Want to shrug this baggage off and set it aside. Step outside and feel light on my feet again. Feel light again, like sun seeping through spring leaves. Leave the should've, could've, would'ves in the dirt. Forget the failings, call them fallings, and remember to get back up, to never stay stuck in shame or blame, but say things like, we'll do better next time. You did the best you could, and that's all we could ask. I'm still proud of you. I don't know a lot about forgiveness, but I do know it has something to do with letting go, with watching rivers run and leaves lift off in the wind, with open palms and time passing, about breathing in and out. I don't know a lot about forgiveness, but I'm learning. I'm sorry that you're the dumbest smart person I know. I'm sorry that you thought my love was like the lottery. All you had to do was pay your 2 cents and then you got everything I had to offer. I'm sorry that I was the jackpot that begged to be saved. And you have never been very good at checking your funds when fun finds you. I'm sorry there's no QuickBooks for this. No app to show you how love should be saved, how what you've got has got to matter to you. I'm sorry you're like a 2-year-old, throwing around your favorite toy until it breaks by hitting the ground. I can still feel the impact, the reverberations like a heartbeat in my body. I was a best friend in the making, but undone by a toddler's torment disguised as a play date. I'm sorry you feel alone now, that jokes aren't as funny without my laughter after them. I'm sorry that no one can cuddle quite like me. I'm sorry that you can't undo your own destruction. You can't go grab your past trauma scotch tape to cover this up. No amount of I'm sorries is going to stitch us back together. No, give me another chance glue is strong enough to stick us back to the beginning. I'm sorry I'm the boy you broke to learn what loss is. I'm sorry it hurts to lose something you love, even though you never knew how to love it. I'm sorry you don't know how to love. Really? I'm sorry. I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy. And you were my biggest love. I'm sorry that I could only teach you by leading by example. I'm sorry that wasn't enough. I'm sorry I made myself patient in every way, laid myself down on the operating table and said, "Here, have my heart." I'm sorry I found fascination in your eyes and said, "Let's start the surgery." Never stopped to suggest we sanitize all the surfaces stained with your insecurities. Never thought you'd wipe me down with unwashed hands and another man's sweat still on your skin. Never thought you'd ash your cigarette in my chest cavity. I'm sorry I was so in love I never checked your credentials. You were never a doctor. I'm sorry that I asked you to be something that you're not. I'm sorry I mistook curiosity as the ability to grow. I'm sorry that you're the dumbest smart person I know. The truth is, I was hurt. Like a naive new recruit, I enlisted in this love game with dreams of grandeur. But after the lies, the cheating, and the gaslighting, I found myself sitting in a studio apartment with ghosts sneaking into my sheets and PTSD knocking at the front door. Nowhere felt safe. And there is no sedative for a soul with shell shock. So, I named you nurse and enemy. Told you to tend to my wounds and answer for your war crimes at the same time. Held my hurt above your head and demanded you grab it, fix it, but I always kept it out of reach. Wanted to teach you pain, wanted my hurt to be your scar. I was afraid. Afraid you'd forget. You'd forget and do it again. You'd do it again and I wouldn't survive the bombs this time. So I made your mistakes a memorial that I visited every day. My protection became my main mission and healing secondary. And I wasn't honest. That forgiving you was something I didn't even know how to do. Torment was my drill sergeant, and it only taught me where to point weaponous words and explosive expressions. If I couldn't handle my hurt, I shouldn't have stationed you in the blast radius. I should have gotten more help, talked to a professional. I should have gotten us both help. No one survives war alone or unscathed. You deserved a fair chance at a post-war postcard. And I survived and still found a smile-type moment mailed to your loved ones. But I stole all the stamps. And I know it's too late to take back the barrage of bitterness I shot at you. But I will say I have finally shouted a ceasefire. Thrown down the loaded righteous rifles that ripped through your rights and us. I will not go to war for what can be corrected with compassion. I will not make that mistake again. I'm sorry I made it in the first place. I'm sorry for the monster I made you so I never had to look in the mirror. I'm sorry I hurt you. I'm sorry. I'm waving my white flag. Do you accept? If Henny in my system and I put my hands on her, am I in the wrong? Yes. The answer is always yes. I've always known the answer is yes. But why? Why can I think back to times when my answer was a choke on complicity, disguised as a chuckle or a "you wildin'"? His alcoholic assault, his beer battery accepted as a punchline. Her body made battlefield by bad jokes or joke men best friends with brutality. I let silence sit with me and it brought others to the table. Like misogyny, who chewed with his mouth open, or violence who cracked his knuckles too loud, or ignorance who never knew when to stop talking, or entitlement who always sat with his feet up. I learned the manners of men from letting silence in. Didn't think my voice held value, so it fell through the cracks. Let hatred slip through too. Let women I love live with hurt he gave and we gave, and the way we played right into the patriarchy's hand made us a man in the worst way. Passed on pain with what we did and did not say. Once, on the screen, I see a woman, like my sister, brown and strong. To my sister, the TV turned mirror as she monitored every movement made by her mimic. When the cop arrives in the scene, pulls over my substitute sister, frisks her far beyond boundaries, my sister winces. My brother scoffs, says, well, she did kind of deserve it. My sister, 20 and wise, rises up from the couch, runs to her room, tears trying to escape. I am silent. I sit for far too long. Look at my hands, never as hard as Hennessy, more like Granny's soft and sweet Pepsi, or Auntie's fingers tough and tender, able to turn a fro into cornrows. I carry more than the masculinity handed to me. I am molded by black women. I find my way to my sister, sit beside her as she sobs, place my palms in hers, and give my silence a death sentence. I'm sorry. For the first time, I try to type out the word misogynoir. I spell it wrong. My autocorrect changes it to misogyny, and I think, isn't this moment misogynoir in the making? A black man who doesn't know how to accurately write about life and an outside force that wants to bury the truth. I keep thinking about all the times I misspelled a situation due to sexism, all the times the world deleted blackness from the sentence, how we were both in the wrong. I'm sorry I never called it what it was. Never made sure to correct myself. Can't expect the powers that be to lead me. I'm sorry my passiveness passed pain on to you. I'm sorry. There is not enough white space on any page for me to say all the sorries black women deserve from me. But the draft of this life isn't done yet, and I will revise the next lines until they spell out the truth. A real apology comes with changed behavior, and I will live with the right words, type out my life with the reality that black women birthed us all. I will practice and pronounce every name perfectly, let each syllable be a party on my tongue. Aaliyah, Amani, Nevaeh, Denisha, I will name the names others want us to forget. Michelle Cusseau, Sandra Bland, Breonna Taylor. I will put a stop to the disrespect. Period. Give credit to the culture black women made for us. Recognize the words we love were gifts from black women. Yes, fierce. Oh, the rewritings of Nicki, Beyonce, and Cardi. That every party with a twerk session comes from the history of black women going to work, putting in that work, cultivating dance, crazes, and creativity. That karaoke isn't karaoke unless someone is singing Aretha's Respect, because can nobody proclaim that kind of power better than a black woman spelling R-E-S-P-E-C-T. And if we read closely, we'll see signatures from Maya Angelou, Toni Morrison, Audre Lorde, and more in the margins of our favorite books. Look in the mirror and press our edges, box our braids and condition our hair just like Madam C.J. Walker would want us to. Watch as black women make the history we need, from Ida B. to Michelle Obama, Kamala Harris, and Ketanji Brown Jackson. Recognize that we are only here because of what they gave us. So now, I can spell misogynoir, but keep it far from me. It's time I defend and celebrate. I sit on the couch hugging a pillow, holding on to anything I can to keep this chaos calm. Questions crowd onto the couch with me, and I don't know how they are all going to fit. Which one to acknowledge first? Why they didn't bring answers with them, and you sit on the far side, all soft eyes and sweet smile, the crease of your eyebrows a subtle sign of concern. I am a 27-year-old man folding myself into a fetal position, afraid to take up too much space and say these words to your face. I don't feel safe around you anymore. I dare to make eye contact and see confusion caught in the crinkle of your nose. I can't trust you right now, not after what you did. But I think we can rebuild it, or at least I'm willing to try. I know you're a good person and you care about me. You just... We can't keep this conversation going until I pay the toll. Recount the recollection you claim you don't have. It's like we lit a candle and let desire drive us with a fiery passion. We start in the living room, falling over each other as our clothes hit the floor. We kiss, we grab, we laugh, we press into each other, touching every part we've patiently, desperately waited for all night. You lead me upstairs by the hand, where I found myself in your bed, inside of you. There is a moment a lit candle turns into a house fire, passion possessed, a flame no longer fun but feral, and the alarm in my head shouts, I don't want this right now, I don't want this right now, I don't want this right now, I don't want this. Stop. Pull out. Breathe. I tried to drench danger with a smile soft as water, search for words that sound like escape. With a whisper, I say, "Hey, it's late. I should probably get home." You sit up and kiss me, hands pulling at me as you shift your body so our skin touches. I feel myself half flaccid. "Okay, but for real, it's late. I gotta get home." "No, you should stay." I pull away, ask, "Do you hear my no?" You say, "Yes." Then grab my dick in your hands and pull me in. You say, "You wish I told you differently." I hear, "Caleb, you didn't tell me I raped you in the right way." You say that feeling unsafe around you is judging you for one out of character moment. I hear, "Caleb, you are making too big a deal out of this." You say, "Losing my trust breaks your heart." I hear, "Caleb, your hurt isn't as big as mine." You say that it would be too hard to be my friend now. I hear, "Caleb, you are a failure." Your friends say that I should stay silent, that this is a vulnerable situation for you. I hear, "Caleb, no one is going to name you the victim." I have never been to this beach before, but the brilliance of the sun setting over your shoulders as we wade in the water has me in awe. When you look back, you laugh at my slack jaw and wide eyes. The surprise, a secret we'll only share with each other. We whisper in the waves then. You are grappling with grief, going numb from the endless gloom. I am desperate for discernment, hoping to find happiness. The tide seems to tie us together. You say that my happiness means more to you than anything. I hear, "Caleb, you are safe with me." No one victim blames better than the victim. Only I can see the multiple different dimensions in which this damage didn't happen.
Only I can hear the hundreds of moments I could have crafted clever escapes.
The moments I wish I had the power to swerve my timeline into an alternate future. But I didn't. Instead, I was too friendly. Maybe I shouldn't have laughed at all their jokes.
I was too welcoming. Maybe I shouldn't have invited them into my room.
I smiled too much.
I played too much.
Everyone knows a smile means you're happy.
Everyone knows playfulness means you want this. I was too quiet.
My voice as heavy as a hammer. I didn't even pick it up.
And everyone knows silence is compliance, right? I should have put more space between us.
Those selfish hands couldn't have invaded my atmosphere if I just understood the laws of physics and attraction better.
Their greedy fingers couldn't have struck me if I just listened to the storm warnings that led me here.
I should have said no in a stronger voice. But you can't expect a word to do all the work.
I should have.
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 I should have. I should have. Maybe the hardest part about hurt is the haunting. I've looked up ways to get rid of ghosts, but these kinds of ghosts only leave one way. And most days, it's with a spell I'm too scared to say.
I spent too many years minimizing these scars, naming myself guilty, navigating days not knowing any other phrasing.
But today, I'm trying something new.
It's okay that you liked her before she hurt you.
It's okay that you lied to protect him. You didn't know any other way.
It wasn't okay that she pretended not to hear your protests.
It wasn't okay that he forced your hands onto him.
It's okay that you don't know how to hate her now.
It's okay that you changed your mind in the moment.
It wasn't okay that she dressed up assault in the disguise of friendship.
It wasn't okay that he forced his hands onto you.
You did the best you could.
I did the best I could. You will get past this.
You'll get past this. You didn't deserve it.
I didn't deserve it.
We didn't deserve it.
Today, I'm trying something new. I forgive me.
You either die a hero or live long enough to become the villain, and longer still to see yourself become human, a mix between both all bundled up in one body. Break this good guy, bad guy binary when you learn nuance, study perspective, start bringing compassion to the boss battles rather than survival instincts. Still, you will want to win. But what does win mean when you win within yourself? Like learning the enemy is in me, but even that's not true. You are made of emotions meant to move you and to teach you, speaking to you in a language you must master. Talk with yourself until you are parent and child, knowing and naive. Be the past and the future folded into two hands, holding hard truth and soft wishes. In time, you will be too many things for one name, and your tongue will tell tales of trials and triumph. Like remember when the hero who couldn't be topped but tripped into that trauma trap, fell over his own feet and felt like falling apart, wanted to get back up but didn't even know where to start. Remember how the hero's sign of hope on his chest was smeared in mud, but he still tore the cape off his shoulders and tied it to something sturdy next to him. Recognize that a hero cannot help what happens to him. Blame is a burden, too heavy to hold alone, and it's okay to need and lean on the strength around you. Or remember the villain whose words were his sharpest weapon, wielded with pinpoint accuracy and apathy. His precision piercing anyone's armor as long as they were in arm's reach. Remember how the villain's purposeful pain was supposed to protect him from hurt. But at night, no matter how big his win, he was surrounded by an empty empire in a loveless lair. Recognize that the most hurtful are often the most hurt, and healing can feel so out of reach.
Remember how you were both
hero and villain, dependent on the day. Recognize that stories cannot always stay the same, but you have to be willing to grow, to look the future in the face and give grace to the parts of you that aren't the prettiest view. Because when you do, you find forgiveness as a force that propels you forward, and you no longer live or die as a hero or a villain, but become the human you're meant to be, the embodiment of broken and beauty, hurting and healing, forgiving and forgiven.